Hello everyone, welcome to our Make It in Germany webinar. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic, the topic of how to find a job in Germany. As you guys may know, it's really a matter that is really important. If you want to come work here in Germany, the first question you have to clarify is how to find a job. So we bring you two experts from the ZFAO who later on are going to give us a lot of tips on how to apply and how to look for a job in Germany. So the experts are Mrs. Vera Onebrink and Mrs. Eva McBridge, and we'll have later on the opportunity to present themselves and give their presentation about some helpful tips on how to find a job in Germany. But before we starting, we just give the word to my colleagues of Mrs. Katarina Obanchik, who is going to give us some little technical advice before we started. So Katarina, you have a word now.
Hi, thank you, Jean-Marc, for the introduction. And from my side, also a warm welcome to our webinar. My name is Katarina Obanchik, and I'm also working for the project Make It in Germany. And I'm here to support you technically and also support you in the chat. So I hope you have no sound problems. If so, you can write down your problems in the chat. And one tip ahead, make sure you have selected computer audio in your GoToWebinar user panel. If not, please select it again. So this might solve a lot of sound problems. You can type your question via the chat. We have here a screenshot, and then you can type it directly. Don't be confused. Only we moderators can see your questions, and we will collect them to the end of the presentation, and our experts will answer all your questions. And yes, and under handouts, you can download today's presentation from Jean-Marc, and also one other document from the ZFAO. I think this is all at this point. If you have further questions regarding the technique, I'm here in the chat for you. So enjoy our webinar, and we see us at the end of the presentation. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Katarina. And yes, okay, I'm going to introduce to you the agenda for today. And before I show you the agenda, I want to present myself. I'm Jean-Marc Janan, and as I told you in the beginning, I'm working for Make It in Germany. But before then, I was a foreign student in Germany. So I came to Germany 16 years ago as a foreign student. So I applied for a visa. I came here, I studied, and after my studies, I have the opportunity to stay here and starting working in Germany. So the thing that I'm actually talking about are things that actually I'm experienced on myself. And the one thing I'm always telling people when I'm having this webinar is that I wish in the time I came to Germany, it was in 2006, and that time there wasn't a website such as Make It in Germany. And now you have this wonderful platform where you can have like all any information that you may use in order to plan properly your move to Germany. So it's really a great website that you should probably know. And yes, that was some little words of myself. And now it's the agenda for today. So in the first part, I'm going to introduce to you this wonderful website I was talking about in the beginning. In the second part, I'm going to show you how Make It in Germany can help you. And after that, I'm going to switch on live and show you the website and show you all the tools that I mentioned in my presentation. And in the third part, I'm going to give a word to our two experts, where you are going to have like the helpful tools on how to look for a job and how to apply for a job, because it's really important that you notice that the way we apply here in Germany is probably different as the way that we apply in other countries, for example. And in the last part, we are going to come all together and have our Q&A sessions, where Katarina is going to read the question, all the questions you have asked during the different presentations. That at the end of the presentation, we are going to answer all the questions. So, but before I start, I just wanted to ask you just one question for me to know if you already know the website Make It in Germany. So this thing, although you may see actually the question, are you familiar with the official website? I'm going to give you like 10 more seconds. Okay. Oh, that's actually a great number because it showed that actually 67% of the people already know Make It in Germany. That's actually great. I mean, I'm going to make my part very quickly because the most important part are actually the helpful tips on how to find a job. So, but for the people who don't know Make It in Germany, I'm going to give you a short presentation of what Make It in Germany is. So, let's get back to my presentation. And yes, what is Make It in Germany? So Make It in Germany is the German government information portals for qualified professionals. And the website was started in 2012 as well. That means actually we have more than 10 years that this website exists. And the website is available in 4 languages: in German, in English, in Spanish, and in French. I mean, in the full versions. I mean, every information you find in the English version, we're going to find in the German version, in the Spanish version, and also in the French versions. And we also have brief overview of the website, of what the website is, although just one pager. We call it landing page in over 14 languages, where, for example, someone who doesn't understand one of these 4 languages, for example, let's say someone that only speaks Arabic, for example, is going to have this landing page in Arabic where we just give a brief overview of what Make It in German is only in Arabic. And then if you're looking for more information, you have to switch in the other languages that we have. So till now, I mean, over this 10 years, we had over 14 million users that have actually used Make It in Germany. Actually, it shows actually that the website is really important for the people. And actually, the aim of the portal was actually to encourage and to inspire qualified professionals from around the world to come and to work here in Germany. So as I told you in the beginning, it's really important, but in Make It in Germany, you can have very important information, and then you can also be 100% sure that the information you find on Make It in Germany are true, because we are the website of the federal government portal. So I mean, it's just a official website. On our website, you can also find like job listing, but I will later show you what I'm talking about. And Make It in Germany is also a partner for companies here in Germany, because as you may know, at the moment, a lot of firms in Germany are facing a shortage of skilled workers. So for a lot of companies, they don't know where they can find like qualified professionals, and then Make It in Germany are just helping them in by showing them that there are also opportunities to hire qualified professionals from outside of the European country, for example. And Make It in Germany, you can have also personal advices. You can just write us an email, or you can chat with our chat service, or you can just call the hotline if you have like specific questions that you may have. You also have all these opportunities on Make It in Germany. The available information you may have, as I said in the beginning, you have a quick check, but later on I'm going to explain to you what is the quick check. You have information on how to find a job. Actually, it's more than it's actually a sum up of what you are actually talking about today. You also have information about entry and visa regulations. That's a thing that's really important from people coming from outside of a European country. Those people need a visa to come to Germany. You also have information about the recognition of foreign qualification. That are also a very important topic in Germany. After finding a job, you have to clarify the question about recognitions. You find a rubric, although you find a website, a site in our website where you can find like any information about this very important topic of recognition. You find information also about learning German, and we also have different success stories of immigrants who arrive in Germany and then will live here for more than for more than maybe 10 years and just explain actually how things work for them actually. So how Make It in Germany can help you. I talked at the beginning about the Quick Check. The Quick Check is actually an interactive tool in order to check on your chances of immigrating to Germany. So you have different kind of questions you have to answer, and then at the end, this question is going to give you actually an estimation of your chances, if you have chances, or which kind of visa you can apply for your specific case. Later on, I'm going to show you on the website where you can find the Quick Check. But the Quick Check, you have two opportunities to find the Quick Check. Actually, it's the first thing you see when you come to a website, and on the home page or under the visa sections, you also find the Quick Check over there where you can just every time I'm telling people, when you first arrive to Make It in Germany, the first thing you may want to do is actually checking the Quick Check, because it's going to give you like this estimation on your migration chances of coming to Germany. The second thing that is really important I wanted to talk about is the job listing, because today we are talking about how to look for a job or how to apply for a job. But this job listing on Make It Germany is actually a great thing, especially for qualified professionals from around the world, because the specificity of this job listing is that the companies that you may see on this job listing are actually companies that are willing to hire qualified professionals from around the world. So they won't be surprised if they receive a candidature, for example, from someone from India or from Egypt, for example, because they already know that the job vacancy are published on Make It in Germany, and they also know that Make It in Germany is targeting qualified professionals from around the world. And we have lots up-to-date job offers, and these job offers are not from Make It in Germany. They are actually job offer from the Federal Employment Agency, as of actually in Germany we call it Bundesagentur für Arbeit, also BA or the BA. And actually, it's this job that you actually filter to import it to Make It in Germany. And there are also jobs that can that are actually available from for qualified professionals from around the world. So you can be 100% sure that all the jobs you see on our job listing are actually for qualified professionals, and then you can apply without having some doubt or anything. So we also have a world map. World map is pretty interesting. For example, if you are looking for contact of German institution, for example, in your country of residence, for example, and I was talking in the beginning about the recognition section. That is really a really important topic, because it's one of the prerequisites in order to apply for a visa, for example, for qualified professionals. And you find, for example, in our section working in Germany, this who need recognition, how the recognition procedure work, or for example, how you can assess your academic qualifications. For example, if you want to work in a non-regulatory profession, I mean, all this information you can find it on this section, recognition. That is also really, really important. And I talked at the beginning also that you find information about work visa in Germany, how to find all information that actually needed in order to apply for a work visa or different kind of visa in Germany. So before I give the word, I just wanted to ask you again another question: which qualification do you have? Because also something important for our statistics to know if you have a vocational qualification or if you have a university degree. I'll give you 5 more minutes, and sorry, 5 more seconds. Okay, that's actually interesting, because most of the people actually have a university degree. And as you may know, that if you have a university degree and if you want to work in a non-regulatory profession, for example, you don't need this regulatory procedure. And so it's actually going to be much more easier. But later on, the experts are going to specify or to clarify this difference between recognition procedure and the ANABIN database, for example. So before giving the word to the two experts, I'm going to show you very quickly Make It in Germany website. If it's actually working. Okay, that's actually the Make It in Germany website when you first arrive and Make It in Germany on our website. And actually, maybe I can make some publicity because we have at the moment a survey. So I would strongly recommend you to take on this survey. It's actually a survey from the OECD. In order, we want to know your story. We want to improve actually your immigration way to Germany. So it's really important that you take your time and you answer to actually the survey. You can find the survey on our Make It in Germany website. But as I mentioned in the beginning, when you first arrive on Make It in Germany, you see the quick check. And then from here on, you can actually make the quick check. So what you want to work in Germany, and so it's 50% off. Let's say another country. What do you have? A university degree. I graduated in a foreign country. I don't have a binding job offer yet. So, and here you can see actually the chances also what you have to fulfill in order on which kind of visa you can apply. Actually, it's the first thing you may want to do when you arrive and Make It in Germany. And yes, the different section, you have actually working in Germany, or to be professional in Japan, or to find a job. The information also Make It in Germany. Yes, the job listing I was talking about. Yeah, you can also search by different professions. And like I said, take your time and improve. Also here, you can switch back, and you also have here information about visa and residence. Sorry again. Here again, the different type of visa when you here. Sorry, internet is a little bit slowly. So type of visa, exactly. So you can find information about work visa for qualified professionals, information about EU Blue Card or visa for IT professional. I mean, the different kind of visa that are actually available for you. So that's actually my brief overview of what Make It in Germany is. Right now, I'm going to give a word to our two experts because they are what you want to listen today, and they are going to introduce themselves, and then give you some helpful tips on how to look for a job and how to apply for a job in Germany. And at the end of the presentation, I'm coming back, and then we are going to answer together all the questions. So our expert now.
Hi, and welcome from ours, for me and my colleague Eva as well. I will just start by sharing my presentation now. I hope you can see that. Yeah.
Yes, perfectly.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having us today. We are very excited to be here to talk to you today, to give you, well, hopefully a few insights on how to look for a job and how to apply for a job in Germany. My name is Vera Onnebrink, and me and my colleague, Miss Eva McBride. Her camera is not working today, so unfortunately you cannot see her, but you will hear her later on. We both work for the ZIV, the International and Specialized Services. We are part of the Federal Employment Agency. And we help and advise people from abroad who are looking to come to Germany, trying to make life easier for them on their way to Germany. Okay, what we are going to talk to you about is, well, hope mainly how to find a job, of course, but of course I will also introduce our services in general, so you know a little bit more about who we are, what it is that we do. I will give you a short overview of the German labor market, so you get an idea what your chances might be here in Germany. And then Eva will go on by telling you more about how to write a successful application. In the best case, it is successful, but we will give you everything you need to start here. We will also, of course, talk about the job search and show you a few options where you can look for jobs. And yeah, well then, in the best case, again, hopefully you will find a job as well. And at the end, I will also give you a few tips for upcoming events if you like to well, engage a little more you are more than welcome to join us for one of our upcoming events as well. Okay, but now let's get started. Who are we? Who is it that is talking to you today? As I said, we are part of the Federal Employment Agency, and our little part is called the International Services. That is made up of the Customer Center, an outgoing section, and the Recruiting Center. If and I are working for the Customer Center, that means we are dealing with individual applicants who are looking to come to Germany. We give information on anything that is related to coming to Germany. And we also help you look for a job. Then we have our outgoing section. That is a team that helps people in Germany who want to work abroad. So if for some reason you come to Germany and then you might want to leave, we also have a team helping you with that. And then our recruiting center, they work in projects and also help people coming to Germany, but then that is part of a bigger project, not individual applicants. How to get in touch with us? We have a hotline, but of course that might be very expensive to call if you're not in Germany. So the better way might be to contact us via email. You can see it on the slide. It's zav.webtutorial@arbeitsagentur.de. Sorry, it's very long and very German, but yeah, maybe you can copy that for your documents. We also have uploaded a registration form for you, which you can download from this platform here. If you like to receive individual advice, if you want us to look at your CV, anything at all, if you have any further questions that we cannot answer in this webinar today, please feel free to contact us anytime, send your CV, and if you also include the registration form that you downloaded here, then we have all the information we need to get you started and to get an idea of your chances on the labor market. So please feel free to use that form. Yeah, fill it in. It's important that you sign it by hand. That is for data protection laws in Germany. But what do we actually offer as kind of support? As I said before, we have a few recruiting activities. We are also in touch with employers here in Germany, so we can help if there's any trouble or any questions, especially regarding the visa process, for example. But we can also give advice on your CV and your application documents. We will do that, of course, today, but we can do that in individual sessions and give you more information and tips when you send us your CV as well. We can give you an evaluation of your chances on the German labor market. There are, of course, a few factors that would influence your chances on the labor market. We can discuss that with you as well. If you do decide to come with your family, or if you have questions whether you can bring your family, anything related to that, we can help you with as well. We can give you tips and information where to learn German. You will see that it is very important to have good German language skills if you want to work here and get a good job here. We also have an expert team to help with the recognition of degrees. We already said it before that it is very important to get a recognition of your degree. We will go into it a little later, but also I just wanted to mention we have this team. They will guide you through the whole process step by step and can help you with any questions coming up because the process can be very tricky. Also very tricky can be our social security and our tax system, even for someone living in Germany for her whole life as me. It is sometimes very tricky. So we can get you started on that as well, give you information, yeah, and help sort things out if it gets too messy for you. And last but not least, we also provide advice on visa and residence status. Well, if the quick check didn't give you the right answer that you hope for, or you have further questions, you can also contact us and we can discuss your options with you. Okay. So I said before, there are a few factors influencing your chances on the German labor market. And of course, there are a few professions that are more in demand than others. We only have listed a few of the professions in demand, the one with the highest demand. That does not mean if your profession is not on this list, that does not mean that you don't have a chance in Germany. It just means that the competition might be a little fiercer, or there might be a little more competition for a job, but of course it does not mean that you don't have a chance at all. But mainly we are looking for engineers and IT specialists. Engineers, that is mostly artificial intelligence and automation technology, also electrical engineering, IT specialists, that is software development, programming. Well, for IT specialists, it's basically everything that has to do with IT. We are also looking, like many other countries all over the world, for healthcare professionals. Professionals, that is nurses and caretakers, also physiotherapists, but of course we are also looking for medical doctors. Now after the pandemic, after everything can reopen again, we are also in desperate need of professionals in the hospitality sector, that is waiters, cooks, but also staff at hotels, so receptionists, and so on. We are also looking for those as well. And then skilled professionals in the technical field, that is metal workers, electricians, construction workers are in very high demand as well. And last but not least, we are also looking for truck and bus drivers. So if you do have the right driving license to drive a truck or a bus, we are also looking for you as well. Okay. There are few requirements to have a good chance on the German labor market. For most professions, they are the same. That is why we listed them here, just to give you an idea what you might need to bring to have a good chance on the German labor market. We mentioned it before many times now. You need a recognition of your degree, whether that is an academic degree or a vocational degree. I will tell you more about the recognition process in a second, just to have it in mind. You need the recognition. I said before as well that you also need very good German language skills. Although Germany is an international country or internationally known country, most of our communication here is still in German, and most of the employers will expect you to have very good German language skills to communicate with customers, with colleagues, with bosses, and so on. So it is good to have a good level of German. Of course, the better your skills, the better your chances probably will be. In most cases, that's ironic, you will also need English skills. As I said, Germany is an international country, and we also, or most companies trade internationally, so you will probably need English skills at your job as well. Of course, you don't only need a degree, but you also need relevant work experience that is related to this degree. So if you have a degree in, let's say, electrical engineering, but then you've worked as a gardener, that will be pretty hard to find a job as an electrical engineer. So it is good to have relevant work experience within the last 5 years that is in the field that you would be looking for a job here in Germany. Of course, you need to be motivated, but I'm guessing you are here, you are looking for your chances, so motivation seems to be good. Most employers also expect you to be able to work in a team. And of course, you have to be willing to learn and acquire new skills as you would be working in a completely different environment, that's another work culture, work ethic here in Germany than probably in your home country. But not only at the workplace, all around you, you will be surrounded by the German way of life, German culture. So there will be a lot of new things that you will need to acquire. So yeah, you have to be willing to do that, of course. Okay, now we talked a lot about the recognition of foreign degrees. We tried to keep it as simple as possible because we could do a whole presentation about the recognition alone, just to be very, very brief about this here at this point. There are two ways to check your or to start your recognition. For academic degrees, you can use the database Anabin. It is a database of universities and specific universities degrees. And the degrees found in the database have been evaluated before. So if someone in your country has studied at the same university and gotten the same degree you have, and they have gotten an evaluation of this degree, it is in this database. And then in most cases, it is enough for the embassy for the work visa to just find it on Anabin, get a screenshot or a print, and then you'll be fine. For academic degrees and then for non-regulated professions. That is the hiccup here. There are a few professions in Germany that are regulated. That means you need a specific license to work in this profession. That is, for example, doctors, healthcare professions, teachers, if you want to teach in a public school. There are a few others where there's a specific license required. Then Anabin is not enough. For those professions and for all vocational trainings that are not done at a university, but you have completed 2 years of training in a vocational profession, you can use the website recognitioningermany.com. You can enter your profession and the place where you intend to work in Germany, and then it will give you the right authority to apply for the recognition, and it will also explain the recognition process. You can also, even if you have an academic degree, you can also use this website to find out whether the profession you want to work in is regulated in Germany or if it's not regulated. So recognitioningermany.de is always a good place to start. Then you can find out, oh, it's non-regulated. I can use Anabin and then I'm fine. If you can find it on Anabin, but if you if you find out that it's a regulated profession, you will have to go through the steps as mentioned on recognitioningermany.de. If you cannot find, if it's a non-regulated degree and profession, sorry, a non-regulated profession, and it is an academic degree, you can use Anabin. If you cannot find your degree or your university, you always have to find both. If you cannot find either one of them in this database, you may have to apply for an individual evaluation of this degree. but that is also explained on Anabin. As I said, the whole process can be very tricky. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. I know it's not very easy. If you have any questions regarding this process, please feel free to contact us. We can go through your individual case with you, and we can find out the best way for you to handle the recognition process. Okay. But why would you even want to come to Germany? What's in it for you, so to speak? What are the advantages of working and living in Germany? I said before on one of the first slides that the social security system can be a little tricky, but that is only because it is one of the most comprehensive systems in Europe. There are many factors covered with this social security system, and mainly anything that can happen to you, it's probably covered. So we have an unemployment insurance if you happen to lose your job, or if you get sick, we have health insurance. If you get to the age where you retire, we have a retirement pension fund. So everything is covered in this social security. And if you're working in Germany, you're most likely covered with this social security system. Also, if you bring your family and your kids need to go to school in Germany, our education is free in Germany up to university level. That means if your kids go to a public school, of course, then that is free for them. Or if you decide to go to school again, that is also free then. Or if you want to study, or your kids want to study in Germany, there's only to pay. You only have to pay a semester fee that is around 300 euros, and well, that is a lot less than you pay in many other countries to study. And then one of my favorites, of course, we have a lot of vacation days per year. That is, if you work full time, you get at least 20 vacation days per year. That makes 4 weeks, as we usually work Monday to Friday. But that is only if you work full time. And then we have on top of that, we have public holidays such as Christmas days, Easter, New Year's Day, of course, and then there are a few more public holidays as well, which we get on top of that. We also have a very good, not only public transport system, but a very good transport system, a lot of Autobahn, as you may know. So you can get around Germany very easily by car, but also by train or bus. Or if you're in a bigger city, you will have well, buses, trams, underground trains as well. So Germany is not very big, but you can travel easily from one corner of the country to another if you want to get to know Germany better. So yeah, you can use public transport very easily. Very good. Okay. And more importantly, in the whole what's in it for you section, what will you earn when you work in Germany? One thing that you always have to keep in mind when discussing or thinking about salary in Germany, that we always talk about the gross salary in Germany. The net salary is after tax deductions, social security deductions, and so on. And as those are very individual, we always discuss the gross salary as this is the same. There are also regional differences if you compare salaries within Germany. we have lower salaries in the east of Germany than in the west, and lower in the north than in the south. However, and that is very important to keep in mind when you think about where to work in Germany. Now you think, oh, I earn more in the south. Obviously, I will go to the south, but usually living costs such as rent, mostly, are higher in those areas as well. So if you earn more in Munich than somewhere in the north of Germany, that is mostly because you will have to pay a lot of rent in Munich as well. So always keep that in mind and check the balance, whether you will still earn more even though you have to pay more for rent, for example. There's a minimum wage in Germany, which is the absolute minimum that you have to get at the moment. That is 10 euros and 45 cents. It will rise to 12 euros per hour in October. So that is not the end of it. It will rise, but that is the absolute minimum that you will have to get. For healthcare professions, it is also it is a little higher than that as well. There are a few websites you can use to check the salary, just to get an idea when you go into a salary discussion with your employer or your future employer, for example. You can use the Entgeltatlas, that is the first link. That is the website of the Federal Employment Agency, and you can use it to get an idea of average salaries in a specific profession, in a specific region. So that will give you a good idea if you are discussing salaries. The second link, Berufenet, is also a very good website if you want to get to know further information regarding specific professions. For example, if you're not sure what kind of or what task a specific profession will entail or include, you can use Berufenet and find out what the profession includes, how to do this profession. For example, if it's a study and you get a degree and then you can work in this profession, or if it's vocational training that you have to do to start this profession. So that is also a very good website, and it will also give you information on what you can expect to earn in a specific profession as well. And the last link, Lohnspiegel, that is not a website of ours, but it's also very good to get an idea, of course, of salary, what you can expect salary-wise. Okay. Now I will hand over to Eva. She will tell you more about how to apply in Germany.
Yes, thank you, Vera. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All good.
So, yeah, what is the process of applying in Germany? First of all, we recommend to do a proper investigation about the company and about the job. So read what the announcement says and what is necessary, and then prepare an application folder, which includes a motivation letter, your CV, and some annexes. And I will come to that in a minute, telling you what should be included in the different parts of the application folder. And then it's also important to have a good presentation at the job interview, like good presentation of yourself, of course, and to be well prepared for that. So the German CV, it's a bit different than in other countries. So first of all, we have to say that there is no perfect version of a typical CV. So this idea, which is shown here, is just a general idea of how to structure a German CV. And of course, you can vary the layout. But please keep in mind that recruiters usually only take a few minutes to check the motivation letter and the CV and just scan it and decide if they want to take a deeper look. So please make it easy to look through and to make sure that your skills and experiences can be seen at first glance. So here you can see the upper section. Well, let's start with the general structure. So the upper section includes your personal data or your personal information, and it should list different things. So of course your first and last name, your address, your full address, and your contact information. So telephone, email address usually. And you should also include your place and date of birth, and your marriage and children. This is not necessary, but it's very common to include it in the CV. And it's also important to include your nationality so that the employer knows if you need a visa, work visa, or work permission, or if you're allowed to work in Germany already. So it's also common in the first, like in the personal information section, to add an application photo. So this is not common in other countries, but in Germany you don't have to, but it's very, very common, and it's also expected in most parts. So the next slide, please. Yeah, so if we look at the classical structure, we can see that after the personal information, you can continue with your educational background. And there you should list your study or your vocational training that you had, or trainings, even if you have more. You should list them there, and schools should only be listed if they are connected somehow with the current occupation. Like if you visited a certain special school with a special background in whatever, IT, gastronomy, or whatever, you can add it there, but usually you start with your vocational training in the university. So when you go to the education part, for the university, you start with the dates of attendance, month and year, and then the name of the university. And below that, you add the list of programs and the achieved degree that you got from the university or from your vocational training side. And then there's also an additional possibility if your final thesis topic, for instance, is thematically linked to the job that you're applying for, you can also add that as well. If, for instance, if you're applying as a flight engineer and your thesis was about airplanes or something, you can add it there. And then we have the social engagement. This is also an important section if you have something in there. So, but it's only of interest if the skills are required for the job. Like, for instance, if you have soft skills which are mentioned in the job offer that are very important, and you are doing social work or social engagement in that area, you can give insight in what you're doing and where you're doing it and for how long. And in your motivation letter, you can also name your soft skills, but they should also be in the CV. So that's also important. And then if you have additional language skills, you can add them there. Of course, your German language skills, English language skills, if you have special knowledge according to the job, like if you have a degree, or not a degree, but if you have a certificate in information, in programming, or any other skills that are very important, you can add them there. And in the end, you should add a signature. So at least add a good scan or digital signature. So the photo. This is also important, let's say. As we said, it's very common, and it's also common sense in Germany to send a photo. So it should be colored, or it can be black and white. That's not that important. But you should choose a business look. Like women should choose a female suit with a blouse or maybe a scarf, and men should choose a jacket, shirt, and tie. Well, it should be casual business, but it should not be of your like free time or hobbies or just looking good, and it should also not be of your whole body, but it's like a really more official photograph. And there should be a sharp contrast between your face and the background, and it should also avoid light disturbances and reflections. And instead of full screen view, just choose like pose gently sideways, or but you have to keep in mind that smiling is always better on a photograph because it's not for a passport, so you better smile on it. And we recommend to have it taken professionally. So don't take just a photo from your WhatsApp or something, but take a professional application photo with a photographer or someone who really is good in photographing. So the next big topic is the motivation letter. This should always be included in an application. So this letter is very important for the application, and the layout is like a regular letter. So you start with your data on top and your contact details, and then you add the data of the company with the address, like the whole official address. You add then the place and the date, and then as a top line, you put your application, the name of the job offer which you're applying for. So the reason for the letter, and if there is a reference number or something, you should also add it in that line. So because some companies, they have a lot of jobs open, so you should add the reference number if you have it and if you find it. Then on top, if it's possible, you should see if you can find the name of a responsible person. Sometimes it's named in the job offer, who's responsible, who's your person in charge, and you should contact or write to him directly by name. And then you just write a short summary where you find the vacancy and why you would like to have this job. And then the other section, which is more important, is what qualifies you for it. Why should it be you? It's not so important that you write too long why you want to have the job, but it's more important to tell them why they should take you and what your qualifications are. So after that, you should think about, okay, I want this job, and I'm qualified, and you told them, and then you tell them why in particular you want to work for their company. So what makes this company different so that you are attracted to the company. And then the last paragraph should be kind of a closing paragraph with a request for an invitation, meaning like, I would be very happy if we could have an interview, or you can also add like you would like to have a Skype interview or something. And then you have a closing like in a regular letter with a kind regards, and please type your full name and add a signature. So, and after everything was successful, you might be invited to the interview. So if you are invited, there are some steps that are important ahead of the interview or during it. So if you go, but that should be quite normal, but plan the trip with a good time cushion to make sure you're not late and you don't have any issues arriving in time, because sometimes offices can be hard to find, or you need a time to get into the company building or something. So take that in mind. And then similar to the photo, prepare adequate business clothes. So in Germany, it's still that you have to have a business casual. In some positions, it's more casual business, but usually you have business clothes during an interview. And you should not go there in your sport shoes or like your everyday clothes, but take more beautiful clothes for an interview. Then get some information and gain knowledge before you go to the interview, so that you have arguments and you are informed about what they are talking about and what you want. So get to know what is the common salary in that branch, what is the common salary for your position. And it's also, we recommend to study the company's website. So what is the focus? What makes the company different to other companies? Why are they special? Maybe you can also have a look if they have upcoming events in that company, like job events or anything else. And on the website of the company, you can look for company brochures or reports, like in trade journals, or some companies, they have CSR reports or sustainable development or sustainability reports. You can have a look in there, because there they list their company life, they list their values, and so it's quite good to have to get an impression and to be informed about it. So consider your answers to common interview questions and prepare own questions. That means there will be questions in interviews, like your personal motivation, your skills, and all that, and you should of course be prepared for that. But it's also recommendable to prepare own questions, because in the end they will ask you, do you have any questions? And then it makes a good impression if you are informed about a company and have your own little questions for the company or something that shows your interest in the company. So then ask yourself, how could your day-to-day work look like? So that's a good basis for the interview. And so that's the good basis for the interview. And here are possible questions. Company related questions can be, what do you know about the company? That's what I just mentioned. If you had a look into the reports and their website and everything, so you know a little bit about their values and about their goals and their behavior, and also maybe some data. And then they will probably ask you, where did you get the information about us? There you can tell them where you find the vacancy, or sometimes it can be that you looked for the company itself, because there's a very specific reason that you want this company in particular. You can also tell them that. And they will maybe ask you what, if you have any idea how your work could look like. Then it's good if you already thought about it, like how would a typical day look like? What will be my responsibilities? So there you can see if your expectations match the real work life. And they will definitely ask you, why do you want to work here? And then it's good to keep in mind why you choose their company and not another company which offers the same like work job or thing. So, and you also have to be prepared for personal questions. There definitely will be personal questions about it. So personal questions could be, why did you study the subjects you studied? They just want to know if you're really interested in it and how your decision or how you made your decision. And they also want to know why they should hire you, especially. And there it's important that if they ask you this question, don't tell them why you want to work for the company, but really what are my outstanding skills that are in favor or are an advantage for this company. They will ask you, are you able to work under pressure? And then you can say, yes, I am. And maybe you can bring an example where you worked under pressure, which projects you made, and with a high pressure, and you successfully completed them. And then sometimes they ask you, like, what would your parents or friends tell us about you? So there they want to know, okay, how do others see you? And it's good maybe if you ask around before you go to an interview and say, okay, what would you tell another person about me, and get an idea what to answer for these kind of questions. And they will maybe also ask you, why do you want to work in Germany and not in another country? So it's good if you maybe go to the Make It in Germany website and get information about Germany, get the advantages, or personal ties, personal relations to Germany. So this is an open question that can be, where your personal motivation can also make a good impression. So there's also, especially since COVID, there's telephone and online interviews becoming more and more common, let's say it like that, and especially if you're out of the country. So first of all, you make an appointment for the interview, and if you have the appointment, you have to make sure that you find a suitable and quiet location, meaning avoid any disturbances, because companies take telephone interviews as serious as personal interviews. So they expect you to be fully focused on that interview. Make sure that all your phones and laptops are charged, and you don't like fail the battery or something in the middle of the interview. It's good to have your CV in front of you to be able to answer questions, or if they ask for a specific date of your degree, of your thesis or something, that you can look it up really quick. And ask prepared questions as well as in the personal interview. So prepare questions that you can ask during the interview. And if you told them that you have a basic knowledge of German or English, or especially German, if you tell them that you speak German, be prepared to speak German as well, because it's really common, and it's really, there's a high chance that they will test your German skills. So yes. So also remember, your voice is your friend. So if you're friendly, sound friendly, and make a good impression, and not like taking it easy because it's a telephone interview. So take it as serious as a normal interview. So we prepared a short checklist for the CV as well. It's important that it's only 1 to 2 pages long. CVs that are longer than 2 pages would probably not be accepted by the companies. They won't look into a 3, 4, 5 page CV. So try to put it in 1 to 2 pages and focus on the most important things. Correct your personal data if it's not up to date. Make sure it's always up to date. Put your contact as a headline. So this makes a professional impression, and have your contact details on top. No matter what you include, but make sure that you have a homogeneous time specification, meaning month and year, or if you choose another date, how do you say it? Date specification like a year, month, or something. You can do it, but keep to the one time specification and don't change it in between. A homogeneous font and font size is also important, and correct grammar and spelling. So if you have the chance to get it like corrected by a friend or someone in Germany, or if you are working together with the ZAV like us, ask the people to look over your CV and correct mistakes, and add correct dates, of course, and a signature. And there's also a checklist for the motivation letter. So first of all, check that all the addresses and names are correct. So of course your data, but also the address and names of the company. Make sure you add the right subsidiary, for instance, that you're applying to, or the headquarters, depending on where you send it. Add the current date and signature, and make sure you add the reference number and that it's the right reference number. Because companies are using more and more automatic screening programs or something, so they will filter the applications, so make sure the reference number is right. You adapted words from the advertisement into your motivation letter, meaning if you have writing in the application, in the advertisement, what they want, you should also include phrases that fit you in the motivation letter. And it's also important, of course, that correct grammar and format is aligned. So, and the last one is the checklist for the job interview. So make sure you have a company name and legal form, meaning that's like if it's AG, GmbH, it's different forms of companies, and know about their core business. Just be informed about the general company information. You should also have a look at the company history, their corporate philosophy, and their social commitment, meaning have a look at their website, read about it, read the reports, read maybe some press snippets or something about the company. You should also know about the locations and the sectors the company is working in, the number of employees, and so on, to be in a good position for the talk about the company. You should know about your salary in the sector, and you should also prepare a few ideas how to answer their questions or their potential questions, and have prepared your own questions. Prepare one or two little questions to show interest in the company. Yes, so that's from my side. Thank you. And so Vera will go on.
So, how to look for a job even. Now you know how to write your application, but to write an application, you will have to find a job first, a job ad that you want to apply for. Let me introduce to you our job board of the Federal Employment Agency. You can find it on www.arbeitsagentur.de. And this is what it will look like when you open the website. Unfortunately, it is not available in English, so we try to translate the most important sections of the website for you, so you know where to enter what in case you don't know German yet. So at the top where it says anmelden, you can register or log in if you want to create a profile. You don't have to do it, but if you want to create a profile, you can enter your data. You can be found by but by employers. And you, for example, you get the chance to save job ads that you want to apply to later, or well, save a few settings. It's an option, but you don't have to do it. And then the most important part is below where it says Jobsuche. There's a drop-down menu where you can choose what kind of job you're looking for, whether it's a regular work where it says Arbeit, or whether you want to look for a vocational training, an Ausbildung, or dual studies, duales Studium in Germany, or you have the chance to look for an internship, which is a Praktikum or a traineeship. Just keep in mind that it might be tricky to get a work permit for that. Or you can also look for self-employment, which would then be Selbstständigkeit in German. The pre-selection is made to work. So if you are just looking for a regular job, you don't have to do anything. In the field, on the blank space next to it, you can enter your profession or a keyword that you want to be included in the job ad. If you enter the profession itself, keep in mind that the website is in German and that most of the job ads are only published in German. So please enter the job title in German as well.
Vera already almost finished the slide. So yeah, as she said, you can enter a location, city, zip code, federal, state, but we always recommend to be as open as possible, because it can also sometimes be that the headquarter is somewhere else than the location. So be as open and then narrow it down. You can also include the filters after the search. So yeah, that would be the suggestion for this slide, or for this tool, let's say it like that. And we can go to the next one.
Wait a second. No.
Yes. So this is the online job search on www.arbeitsagentur.de. It's also mainly in German, but there you have the different areas, like fields of employment and areas. So you can either choose from a certain area where you know, for instance, if you're a doctor or if you're a healthcare professional, you can go to healthcare, Gesundheit in this case, and filter all the opportunities in this field. So in this case, this example shows IT and technical like jobs. So if you click on that, it will be another folder showing you a more detailed view and more detailed filter options for the field of jobs that you are looking for. So if you go to IT and communication technology, then you can go on and search for software development, for instance, or informatics, or administration, IT administration. And from there, you can then like guide your way and narrow down the options that fit best to your profile. So next slide, please. Yeah, so and once you chose the different fields and you clicked your way through the opportunities, you will get this view showing you the output of your job search. First of all, the results are filtered or are named in this case, in the topic of relevance, meaning if you, for instance, if you put a place or a certain knowledge or a certain skill or a certain name of a company or of your job, it will be filtered here for relevance, but you can also filter, for instance, for new jobs, new jobs, like a date or like different kinds of things. You can filter them. You can also, on the left-hand side, you have a toolbar where you can set more filters that are important for you. It can be up to date, like date since published, or you can, if you only want to work part-time, you can choose it here. But of course, if you want to work part-time, it's harder to reach some salary levels. You can filter the place of work, the starting date, like all the different times, the sector, all the different kinds of things can be filtered here. And so we recommend to make a more open search and set the filters here instead of in the first place. So next slide, please. So, but of course, there's not only one way to look for jobs, but there's also another way. There are other ways, let's say it like that. We have, as you mentioned, as Jean-Marc mentioned in the beginning, we have the job listings on Make It in Germany, which are very good because employers that list their jobs there are specifically interested in people coming from abroad and working for them. We have Euro's website. This is mainly for European labor mobility, but you can have a look, because if you find a good a good position or a good job offer, you can write to the company and ask if they are interested in taking people from like outside of Europe as well. This requirement is mostly because people within Europe are able to work without visa. So you can go to company websites and check their career part. They have good jobs there if you already know in which sector or for which company you would like to work. You can have a look at business networks, use all the common search engines, meta search engines. We don't name specific engines here because, you know, we don't want to say this is better than that or something, but you have big search engines and you can make use of them, of course. And what is also common in Germany is if you have a company that you would like to work for instance, Siemens, and they don't have a job that fits you at the moment, you can send an application on your own initiative telling them, hi, this is my CV, this is my motivation to work for you. And usually companies are happy about it and they will invite you to see, okay, this one fits. We want to get to know him anyways. Maybe we have an opportunity for him or her, or they will keep it in their stock. And once they have open positions or they are looking for a new personnel, they will come back to you and say, hey, you sent us your CV about a year ago and we have an open position. Are you still interested? So this is also a good option. So the next one, please. So we also want to make you aware of some upcoming events and ongoing projects in the ZAW. First of all is the Returnal to Germany. So if you, it's not only for Germans, but if you have already lived in Germany, like a few years ago or in the past sometime, it might have some interesting information for you. It's especially for people who want to return to Germany and have already worked in Germany. And there's also the European Job Days, and it's on 15th of September in 2022. and you can also register for that and take part. And of course, all the events are online. So the next one, please. So, and there are some specific projects that are going on. We have a Brazilian project where Brazilian nurses get the possibility to work in Germany as a project. So if anyone from Brazil is here taking part in this webinar and is working as a nurse, this can be good to contact us, or the email address that is mentioned here, brazil@arbeitsagentur.de, and ask for more information, because then this is a more structured and pre-prepared process. We also have nursing projects for other countries, especially, for example, in Mexico. It's also, yeah, there's also a possibility to take part in a project and get an easier process to come to Germany. Next one, please. Yeah, as Vera mentioned, we're also looking for truck drivers, and there's also an option to, yeah, take part in a project or get information about truck driving and logistics. Sorry. If you're a truck driver, it's easier if you're from a European state, because the driving license will be acknowledged easier. But if you're a truck driver from abroad, you can contact us and see if there is a certain project. And of course, there's a special focus on ICT experts for Germany. No matter where you're from, this is really a focus project, and yeah, you can have a look at the website if you are an ICT expert, and there you will get more and deeper information on this project. Thank you. Next one. So, and overall, if you have any questions or yeah, want to get in touch, there's possible ways to contact us. We have a hotline. This is a common German phone number, so you will have to pay the fees like calling a regular German phone. We have a text chat on Make It in Germany as well, where you can chat with us if you have questions. There are some options for video chats, and we have, of course, as you see it here, the email address and the Make It in Germany website, which is very helpful to surf through and get information on that. Yeah, so that's from our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for me as well. I'm back. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm fine.
Hi, welcome back. So, I think we can now turn on all the cameras for the Q&A session. Hi. I hope now your connection is well.
Yeah, me too. I hope it just a few more minutes it will last.
No problem at all.
But Eva did a good job, I think.
Yes, it was great so far. Thank you for your really helpful input. We received a lot of questions, and we are really happy that you have bought some extra minutes for the Q&A session. I think I will directly dive into it. One really common question was, is it necessary to have German language skills for applying for a job in Germany?
It does depend a little bit on your profession, but unless you are a software programmer or software developer who is somewhere deep in their cellar, not talking to anyone, you will need German language skills, probably, yeah, in most cases.
Okay, and also one common question was, do the CV and the motivation letter to be in German language as well?
You go.
Oh no, sorry. Well, I would say it depends a little bit on the company that you are applying to. So if you're applying at a big international corporation, I think it's most likely fine if you send an English CV and motivation letter, but if you apply with smaller companies, you definitely should apply in German.
Okay.
Maybe I wanted to add one more thing, and one thing is very important. If you are applying in German, you have to make sure that your CV or your motivation letter doesn't have any mistakes. So of course you are not German speaker, but you have to just look for someone or maybe in your internet to be sure that there isn't any mistakes before applying, because it's really, really important that your CV and your motivation letter arrive at the company without any mistakes in the document.
Okay, thank you. Is there any age limit to get a job in Germany?
No, there's no age limit. You shouldn't be in the retirement age, which is at the moment 65, I think. There is a visa specification that you have to earn a certain amount when you're over 45, but in general, you can still get a visa if you have a job offer. So there's no limit on finding a job. It's just the visa if you're older than 45.
Okay. Does the university grade matters for a job?
Oh yeah, Eva.
Sorry. Yes, it does matter. It depends on the job, of course. So if you are in the IT sector and you have a profession that is really needed, and there's not so much competition, it is not of that big interest. But if you have positions with a lot of competition, it can make a difference what your grade is. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Is recognition of certificates education once necessary to apply for jobs in Germany?
It is not mandatory to when you apply. It can help the employer to understand your degree or your qualification, because obviously they're not familiar with degrees all over the world. But you will need the recognition once you apply for the visa. So you will have to do it at some point. Of course, if you can find an employer before, you might also apply for the fast track procedure, which would then again include the recognition process. But you can also only do the fast track procedure when you have an employer. So it's your decision whether you want to do it beforehand and be on the safe side because you already have it, or whether you want to start applying and then might see whether you can do it together with the employer.
Okay. Can we apply for a job from abroad even if we don't have a visa yet? Or do we need to be in possession of a visa in order to apply for a job in Germany?
No, you can apply, and it's very common to look for a job first and then get a visa, because the visa requirements require a working contract and a certain salary. So probably, or in most cases, you have to find a job first, and then you can apply for a work visa. Not in all cases. There are job-seeking visas, but yeah, overall, if you apply from abroad, you should make sure you get a job and then take the next step and get the visa.
Okay. My next question is a little bit more specific. I'm looking for a job in Germany in the profession as an electrician. My qualification is partially recognized and I have B1 German language. Since long I'm applying for jobs, but still no success. Is there anything I'm missing? With partial recognition, is it hard to get a job from abroad?
That depends a little bit on what is listed on this partial recognition. It is common to get a partial recognition when you haven't completed your vocational training here in Germany. In most cases, everyone will get this partial recognition. Then there are different courses or different parts that are listed on this recognition document, which you have to complete to get the full recognition. Those can be either courses that you have to take in Germany to get the full recognition, or it can be work experience, something that you can do with an employer. You have to check with the authority that issued this partial recognition, what kind of measures you have to take to get the full recognition, to complete your recognition process. When it is something that you can do with an employer, you can apply for work or to apply with employers and then explain the process that you still need to do or to complete something to get the complete recognition, that you cannot get the actual work visa yet, but you have to do the recognition visa first. But if it's courses, you have to apply for those courses at certain institutes, for example, and then get the recognition visa to complete the recognition here in Germany. If you have checked that it's something to do with an employer and you applied and you are not successful, I would recommend to contact us so that we can have a look at your documents. For example, Eva said it in her presentation that they only take a few minutes to look at it. So maybe that's the problem, or there's something else that we cannot know right now here in this presentation. So please contact us via email. We can go through the process with you, check where there might be any issues with your application.
Okay, thank you for the detailed answer. The next question has something to do with recognition. Maybe Jean-Marc, you can help here. What is the difference between a recognition and academic equivalency?
Maybe I can answer. The recognition procedure is actually a procedure only for people who have a vocational qualifications and who want to work in Germany, or for the people who have want to work in regulated professions. Although with regulated professions, you have to keep in mind it's a profession where you need a specific certificate or specific diploma in order to be able to work in this field. You can have in mind, like when you want to work as a doctor or you want to work as a lawyer, for example, this kind of profession are regulated, and for that you need a recognition, because at the end you got a certificate that your qualification is comparable to a German qualification. And actually the same things also with the people who have a vocational qualification. Only for these people they have to make this recognition procedure. So they can send the document, and then the competent authority in Germany they are going to assess, make the assessment of the qualification and see if the qualification is comparable to a German one, and then at the end they are going to give you a certificate where you can know if you got a part-time recognition or a full recognition. In order to be able to apply for the visa, you need the full recognition. So if you got the part-time recognition, you cannot apply for a visa, for a work visa, for example, but you can still apply for a visa in order to get your qualification recognized in Germany. So there is also this opportunity. And the other things is for the people who have a university degree, and these people doesn't need any recognition. So they can use the Anabin database. Mr. Honorable was talking about during qualifications. Actually, you can find information about the Anabin database on Make It in Germany. If you go on our Make It in Germany section, in our recognition section, you can find under academic qualifications, we have we have an restriction on how to use Anabin because this database is only available in German, and we have this restrictions actually in 4 different languages where you can use the restriction, and then you can go through Anabin, and then you can at the end you can have the result that you need for your visa. But that is not the only thing that is also possible for people with academic degree. Actually, you have 2 opportunities. You can use the Anabin database, or you can use a statement of comparability. And from a statement of comparability, is kind of work like a recognition procedure, but it's not a recognition procedure. That means you are abroad, and then you send your document to this center B here in Germany, and then they are going to assess your document and at the end tell you if your certification is comparable to a German qualification. I mean, it's kind of work at the recognition procedure, but it's not the same. It's 2 different procedures. So just have to keep in mind for people with academic degree, they can use this Anabin database, or they can use this statement of comparability that's only by the center B, and all the others, meaning people who want to work in a regulated profession, or people who have a vocational qualification, they need these recognitions. But again, all this information about recognition, we need recognition, the difference between recognitions and statement of comparability. You can find all this information on Make It in Germany. If you go on our website, on the recognition part, you're going to see all the information I was talking about right now.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I have some connection problems, but now I can hear you now. Okay, thank you for the detailed answer. Now we are jumping to the next question. How can you provide evidence for the ability to work in a team and the willingness to acquire new skills?
Well, obviously there's no test to take to show that you can work in a team, but that is something that you can mention in your motivation letter. They will ask you about it in your job interview, and then it's good, as Eva suggested, if you say, yes, I am willing to, or I am good at working in a team, if you have an example. So if you can describe a situation where you helped your team or where you worked as a team and it succeeded, that's always good to include in your answer, so that you don't say, yes, I can work in a team, so that you can see, yes, see example XY. The same is for the willingness to acquire new skills. That is more well, it's a same soft skill that you cannot prove in a test, but that is more a requirement that you have to bring to actually be willing to work in Germany, to apply in Germany. You also already show that you are willing to do that. And again, you can of course show that in your motivation letter and in your interview by explaining it with examples, for example.
Okay, thanks. The next question is, when there is no person in charge name in the job offer, how or to whom should we write the letter? It's been really just a few times, but I haven't seen a person in charge, but it happens.
In general, you can write sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, like ladies and gentlemen, like to whom it may concern, or sometimes it helps to just do a quick research. Maybe they have a name listed on their website, on their company website from the human resource department. But in general, it's fine if you say ladies and gentlemen, or if you don't have a name. If there is a name, you should always tell the name in the motivation letter.
Okay, thanks. The next question is regarding job interviews. Is it okay in a job interview to say that I want this job as an entry level and plan to progress from here? I mean, does this reflect that I see the position as a temporary job?
Well, it depends a little bit. I would say, in general, I mean, today it's common, or employers know that people are not planning to stay their whole life with them, probably. But I wouldn't say I want to take it as an entry position and leave as soon as something else comes up. So you should at least make the impression that you really want to work for them for a longer period of time.
Okay. One thing maybe. Is a work visa tied to a company, or can you change the company during your stay?
It is tied to a specific employer at the beginning, but of course you can change it if you're not happy. In the first few years, you have to change your residence title at the local or at the local Ausländerbehörde, the immigration office, and then they will forward it again to the Federal Employment Agency if their approval is necessary. But it is tied to one employer. But yeah, you can change it. It's no problem. Just have to apply for a new one.
Okay. Since we have extended our webinar about 50 minutes, I think I will only ask one more question, and then we have to close the Q&A session, unfortunately. And the last question will be, how many years of professional experiences is needed to apply for a job in Germany?
It also depends on the profession, but we recommend at least between 2 to 5 years minimum, I would say, to get a good position and to have good chances to apply for a job.
Okay, thanks for the recommendation. Okay, this is now the end of the Q&A session. Thank you for joining us. I think Jean-Marc and also the colleagues of ZFE can maybe again repeat on how to get in touch with them and with us. Thank you so much so far.
You're welcome. So maybe the colleagues first, and then I will close. Yeah.
Thank you again from our side as well. And you can contact us via email to zav.webtutorial@arbeitsagentur.de. You can use the registration form that is in the download section. I think it should say mention our email as well. I can write it. Oh yeah, there. Thank you. Now it's on the slide, so you can use that email address or call us if you are if you want to pay for it.
Okay, so thank you again for your time, and thank you for listening to our webinar. As again, you can contact us also via our contact formula, so you can use our email or chat, or you can call us. It's also everything on Make It in Germany. When you go on services and then contact, you have a possibility to directly contact us. So thank you again for your time, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.